Hello, my name is Amanda Brooks, and today I'm going to be giving you a presentation on how to create a culture of readers for our school. Before I begin my presentation, I want to talk about the handouts that I provided for you all. So, you should have this handout, and this handout is about motivating children to love reading. The second handout is motivation for teachers and how we can motivate our teachers to promote that literacy as well as love reading. Now, I'm going to also share this on my screen so everybody can see it better. I'm just going to briefly go over it because later on in the presentation, I'm going to go into a lot more detail about it. So while you have these handouts, you are more than welcome to take notes when we get to that point in the presentation. So I'm going to share my screen with you all and show you what it looks like. And I'll read it real quick. Join us to create a culture of readers to motivate children to love reading. So here are 4 ways we can do that. Is through reading campout, popsicles with the principal, birthday book, and the morning arrival. So that's the 4 ways we're going to focus on for motivating students. Now I'm going to share the screen again and show you what the handout for motivating teachers looks like. So it's very similar, but this time we are focusing on book bingo, classroom crawl, and strangers in a ball pit. Those are going to be ways to motivate our teachers. Okay, so when we get to that point in the presentation, you can take notes, but I just wanted to make sure that you all saw those and you have them with you physically as well. Okay, we're going to begin. So this presentation is inspired by the book Lead with Literacy, a pirate leader's guide to developing a culture of readers. This book is written by Mandy Ellis. It is a wonderful book, and I think we all need to read this book. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you all again so that I can begin the presentation. Creating a culture of readers. So in this presentation, you are going to discover what a culture of readers is and how we can implement it in our school. So let's get started. So what is a culture of readers? When we are referring to a culture of readers, we are talking about fostering a love of reading for our students. So it's very important that our students love to read and see why it's so wonderful to read. A lot of times, many students feel that reading is a chore or a job, and they are just unmotivated to want to read. So we need to reverse that so that they will love reading. Once we have established this culture of readers and our students have this love of reading, they are going to become lifelong learners, which is our goal for our students. That's what we want ultimately. So why should we do this? Well, reading is important to any job. One day our students are going to become adults and they are going to be in some type of profession. And like I said, our readers now or our students now, they're going to be the next generation of scientists, computer programmers, in the medical profession, our teachers, our artists, and even mechanics. All occupations have some type of reading. So it's important that our students love to read early on in life. And another thing is leaders are readers. Not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers. This means that leaders throughout the world are indeed readers. I just thought that was important to mention. So how do we create this? Well, teachers need to lead like a pirate. So pirate is an acronym. The P stands for passion. When we are referring to passion, we are talking about teachers that are showing off their passion and their love for reading. And they also have their students as well as colleagues to develop that passion and love for reading. Immersion means that teachers are immersed in their job as well as their relationships with their colleagues and students. So they're so immersed in it that they're going to actually leave a positive impact. So that's what immersed means. Rapport means that teachers, are going to try to build that trust with their colleagues and their students. If they're able to build that trust and establish a relationship, they're going to be able to motivate everyone to love to read. Ask and analyze. This means that teachers are going to ask great questions and engage in meaningful conversations. When they're able to do this, they're also going to encourage others to take good risks. So that's important as well. Transformation. When teachers are using transformation, that means they are going to transform normal things to spectacular things. So it could be a lesson or an activity. Just a normal lesson or activity that they might do, they're actually going to make it spectacular. So they're going to go the extra mile to make sure that it is motivating. And the last is enthusiasm. So teachers need enthusiasm. We need to be positive. We want our students to come to school every day. We want them to be excited to come and excited to learn and to read. So we need to lead like pirates. In addition, we also have to set sail. SAIL is also another acronym. Student choice is the S. Ample access is the A, the independent reading time is the I, and the L is literature-rich learning environment. And we're going to go into a little bit more detail about those now. So student choice. This means that students need a choice in what they are reading. In order for students to be interested in what they're reading, they need to be able to have that choice. So teachers have to let go of that control, and that's hard for us to do sometimes. However, if we control what students are reading, they're not truly going to be motivated to read. They need to have that choice. In addition, we need to make sure that we keep the newest and latest books in our classroom libraries. That will also motivate students to want to read. We need to have ample access. This means that books should be everywhere in our school building, okay? They do not just need to be in our classroom libraries or the school library. In fact, they need to be in places where students are going to be the most often. So in order to implement this, we can have a bathtub of books, or we can have emergency reading bookshelves where students will be able to simply go get a book. Now, the thing about this with ample access, this means that there aren't any strings attached. Meaning, if a student loves a book so much, they're able to keep that book. They do not have to worry about returning it back to the bathtub or the bookshelf. They can just keep it. And that will motivate them to want to read more as well. Independent reading time. So this is a very important part of reading. We should lay out time in our day. I know our days are busy, but we need to lay out time in our schedule to where students can independently read. When they are able to do that, they will be motivated to read. There's also many benefits to independent reading time. So if a student is independently reading, which we will have to instruct how to do this because there is a wrong way to do it. But regardless, when they do it correctly, they are going to improve their comprehension, their fluency, and their vocabulary. Not only will they improve that, they will also build a stamina where they will be able to read longer without getting tired or bored, which is very important. And the L is literature-rich learning environment. This is our learning environment, and our learning environment needs to be comfortable and collaborative. So when I talk about it being comfortable, we need to have flexible seating so that students are comfortable to read. We don't necessarily need them to read in a desk. We need to provide that flexible seating, so like beanbag chairs, comfortable chairs, couches, yoga mats, tents, and so forth. So if they are in a comfortable area when it's time for them to independently read, they will be very motivated to read. In addition, it also needs to be collaborative, meaning it doesn't just need to be comfortable in the classroom. It needs to be outside of the classroom as well, like in the hallways, like in the nooks of the hallways. We also need to provide that seating there as well. In addition, we should have a book selfie station, which is basically just a selfie a selfie station where they will take a picture with their book. Then they'll be able to display to the whole school what they're reading. Teachers can also do this as well. Then there is Teddy time. This is actually when we include service dogs. We have talked about bringing in a service dog before with one of our teachers. This would be the perfect opportunity to motivate students to read. There are some students who unfortunately have that anxiety and stress when it comes to reading. If they were able to be with a service dog, then they would be able to not have as much anxiety, and they'll feel more comfortable. So by doing this, we will be able to motivate our students to read. Now, remember that handout I had of the treasure map? This is what I'm referring to here. So this is 4 ways we can motivate our students to learn. Remember, you can take notes on your handout if you need to. So we have reading campout, popsicles with the principal, birthday books, and morning arrival. So the first one is the reading campout. This is going to make it look like they are actually camping out while they are reading. It can happen during the school year or during the summertime. The students are simply going to bring a book to school, and they are going to read it with a staff member. So it can be a teacher, or it could even be the principal. It could be an aide, anybody that's a staff member. And once they finish reading, they can actually receive a free book from us. That will motivate them to want to go home and read that book. Now, when we talk about the camp out theme, we could easily do things to make them feel like they're truly camping out. So we can include tents. We can include mattresses, like blow-up mattresses, because that's what some people do when they camp. We could also include something that will motivate them, like a yummy snack. So I'm thinking a s'mores cupcake or something like that, just to make them feel like they're truly camping out. So when the environment like this that I'm describing is motivating, they're going to be motivated to want to read. Now, the second one is popsicles with the principal. So during this event, every student is going to read with their principal. So they're going to read with our principal. And they are going to be reading a picture book. So once they finish this picture book, they're going to celebrate reading, which means they're going to eat their popsicle. While they're eating their popsicle, they can go out to our playground, and they can also play on the playground once they finish with the popsicle. By doing this, students are going to be really motivated to want to learn, or to love reading. They'll want to learn to read, and they'll love it while they are doing so. The next one is birthday books. So on a child's birthday at our school, which we have a lot, it is a lot, but we can do this. Each child is going to receive a free birthday book. Now, it's not just going to be a book that we just give them. Oh no, it's going to be much better than that. So when it is a child's birthday, we're first going to give them their birthday bookmark with their name on it. They're going to take that to the office, where they will show the secretary. The secretary will know why the child is in the office, and she will take them to the principal's office. While they're in the principal's office, they get to choose a book that they want. So it's any book they want. Once they decide which book, the principal is actually going to sign it. So that's really exciting for a kid, and it makes them feel special. The last way to motivate students is during morning arrival. So the first time we see them each morning, we can actually make an impact. We have no idea what they're facing at home, and we want them to be happy and to love coming to school. So a way that we can motivate them to love reading is to discuss reading during morning arrival. So different ways we could do this is we could surprise a child with a book that we picked out just for them. That will definitely make them feel special and motivated to read. You can also recommend books based off what this child is interested in. So, of course, you have to be able to establish and build a relationship with this child so you do know what they are interested in. Finally, because there's a picture, this is why I saved this one for last, but these are 3 teachers at our school, and I have their permission to use their picture, and they actually dressed up as book characters during Halloween. So why does that just have to be at Halloween? Why can't we do it monthly? So if each teacher rotates and dresses up as a character and stands out in the hallway first thing in the morning, students are going to be motivated to want to read. They're going to want to read more so they can try to guess who the character is the next month when we do this activity. I think this would be a really great way to do that. So now we are going to talk about how we can motivate teachers. We as teachers need motivation just as much as our students do. It's just a true fact. The 3 ways we're going to focus on are book bingo, the classroom crawl, and strangers in a ball pit. And again, this is the handout you should have. You can take notes on this as we go. So book bingo. This book bingo idea is basically having teachers to learn about new books that they can add to their own classroom libraries if they are interested in them enough. So basically, a group of teachers will gather, and each teacher will reveal a title, a series, or an author to the whole group. They will then give a quick summary of the book that they selected, and they're going to explain why they selected that book. As each teacher is discussing this, somebody will be writing down the titles of the book. Once everyone has finished, each teacher is going to receive a blank bingo card where they will write down the titles that they found interesting as the other teachers were explaining. So the ones that they had not heard of before, that's the ones they're probably going to write down. Once everybody has their bingo cards filled out, the principal will just call out random titles. So it will be a bingo game. I think that's a great way to motivate teachers. A second way is the classroom crawl, excuse me. So this is where teachers will basically travel to each other's classrooms and see the different ways that they are promoting reading. While we would go on this classroom crawl, so we would all go as a group, go to each teacher's classroom, we're going to have a list of things that we're looking for. So some examples would be, how do teachers celebrate readers? Do they have creative book displays? Is there student choice in their classroom libraries? And is there ample access to these books? So you're going to write those down, and those are just a few examples. You could look for a lot more than what I just put on there, but that was just to give you an idea. And personally, I love going to other teachers' classrooms because they come up with ideas that I never knew was possible. So I really enjoy that, and I think everybody else would enjoy that as well. The last way to motivate teachers is strangers in a ball pit. So basically, all of our teachers are going to take turns sitting in a ball pit. So it'll be from a small pool that we might blow up, and we'll put balls in there. And some of the balls will have questions. And this is going to help us learn about each other as well as what we like about reading. So here are some examples of what some of the questions might be. Why did you become a teacher? What literacy-based website do you visit most often? Describe your classroom in one word. Now, it doesn't just have to be serious questions. We're going to include funny ones as well, like, would you rather be bald or hairy? Those type of questions that are also going to make us laugh, because I think laughter is an important part of teaching, and I know you all do too. So now we have to reflect on what I have just talked about this culture of readers. So we have to decide, does our school truly reflect a culture of readers? And if it doesn't, what necessary what necessary changes do we need to make in order to implement this idea into our school building? Are we willing to go the extra mile? Meaning, is everybody on board to make sure that we can create a culture of readers? Because this has to be everybody. Can't just be some teachers, it has to be everybody. And then what are your concerns on ensuring that we can achieve this goal? So what I want you to do right now is just be thinking about some of those concerns and what you want to talk about. And in a few minutes, we will go over those concerns as a whole group. So right now, I just want you to break up into small groups and kind of talk about what changes we need and what concerns you have. And we will come back together in just a minute. But I want to go ahead and talk about this first before we talk together as a whole about these concerns. So each book we read carries hidden treasure just waiting for us to discover it. This means that each book has something special for us to learn about as we read it. And we have to read it to be able to know what that treasure is. And we need to explain that to our students. Now, let's lead with literacy and teach like pirates. Well, we're going to lead like pirates. We're going to do that, and we're also going to set sail by including those choices and having access to books everywhere throughout the school. Adventure waits. Let's look at our treasure map and find great books that's going to motivate our students to love reading. So this means now that this is over and we're going to create this culture of readers, we need to go and find motivating books that our students are truly going to love. So I want to go ahead and mention my Works Cited page. Just so you know, like I said, most of these ideas, almost all the ideas, came from Lead with Literacy. Okay, and if you all have any questions, now is the time to ask me. So before I answer these questions, I just want to say thank you so much for participating in this presentation. I hope it's been beneficial, and I hope our school can become a culture of readers. Thank you so much. It was good giving this presentation.